Great, okay. Hi everyone, my name is Emily. I'm one of the art and design stewards here. You may recognize me from our marbling video, but today I'm going to be showing you a couple different techniques of how to put the paint on the coaster set for our kit. So what you would get in the kit is a set of 4 tiles that look like this. They're nice glossy white. You'll get the little stoppers for the bottoms so that they don't slip and slide, and then you'll get your choice of 3 paints that I've pre-mixed with a medium to help them pour and stick better. And then you have the stencil that you can get as well. I have this one taped to this tile already. It says, "Let's get lit," which is pretty cool. So for the first one, I'm going to show you how to do a basic acrylic pour to get a sort of marbled technique and look on the tile. So to start with that, I have my little tray. You're going to want to set down like a newspaper or something. Also roll up your sleeves and probably don't wear white, unlike me. You want to roll up your sleeves just in case. You will get paint on your hands, but you could possibly wear gloves if you wanted to. And then I am just going to scoot my tray forward so that I can pour onto a flat surface. And then I'm going to start picking out colors. It's very similar to the way that we marbled. I'm going to pour a little bit of this around. And then I'm going to take a little bit of the red. Or I guess it's a bit more of a pinky color, but I'm gonna do that. And then some of the white. And then we can see how this turns out. So then you want to pick it up and keep it as horizontal as you can. And then once you're over your tray, you're going to start tilting your tile to all of the different directions so that the paint runs across the surface of the tile and drips off the sides. Now it's a little bit messy, but as long as you're doing it over something like a tray, you should be good. And once you feel satisfied with the way that it turned out, which I feel pretty good about this one. I don't think I'm gonna get much more spread out of it. And it looks really nice and even along the surface. And so then I'm just gonna set this one down, and where it has some little bubbles in it, I kind of like that. I think that it adds a little bit of dimension to it, but much like the marbling, you can take a lighter. I would suggest using one of the like candle lighters with a long top to it so that you don't burn your fingers. And you can just glide that over the top and it'll pop all the bubbles. Alrighty, and so I'm gonna move the tray. It's nice and clean on the bottom so I don't get paint anywhere. And I'll show you how to do the stencil. So I'll flip it around so that you can see it. I did get a little bit of green on my hands, but that's all right. You'll get a little sponge brush in your kit. And what we're gonna do is utilize the same paint. As you can see, I've tested this one before. But we're gonna do the same paint, and I'm gonna show you how to like best dot the color on. So you wanna dip it in, get a little bit of the excess off, and then I like to start lightly tapping. And a big thing is that you want to make sure that you tape down your stencil before you start. Because if you don't, it's gonna flop all over the place. and then you're gonna have a problem. But so long as you keep it nice and flush with the tile, you'll get a nice sweet little design. And if you wanted to, you can tape over different areas so that then you can do different colors. For the sake of the video, I'm just doing green. But what you would do is just place some masking tape, or like we're using blue painter's tape, over any of the areas that you did not want to paint green. You would dot, let it dry, peel up your tape on whatever area you had put it over, and then do the same thing with the other areas. So I would also suggest letting it dry in between. Like ideally I would let this dry with the stencil on, then do another layer. You're gonna have to do a couple because the thing about sponges is that they tend to give you a sort of uneven color. And so if you want something that's very even, you'll have to do a number of layers, but you can hit it with a blow dryer if you wanted to. And then once it's done, it'll start to look like these, wherein you have like the nice solid color. If you wanted to, you could do a combination of like pouring and then painting. I would just suggest that you let it dry in between each coat. If you want to do something that's a little bit more abstract, or if you don't have the time, just remember that thinner paint always sticks to thicker paint. So if you poured and then you, like, for whatever reason, really need to get your stencil on, you would just thin out the paint a little more with like water. Though that's not what I would suggest. Yeah, so, okay. So, hi everyone, I'm back a few days later to show you how to do the glazing process for these. So you'd be getting a little paint container full of a acrylic gloss and acrylic gloss so that you are able to protect the surface of your paint. So here I have one of our little prototype tiles with this really sweet purple mandala on it. And what I'm gonna do is you'll get one of these sponge brushes in your kit, and I'm just going to pour the tiniest bit of the gloss, both a little bit on the brush and a little bit on the tile itself, and then just slowly and smoothly drag the brush along the top of the tile. And this gloss is really nice because it'll leave a white cast so you can see where you've put it, and it'll dry clear. So you just want to do that until you feel pretty satisfied about what it's covering and coating. And then you can go a little bit around the edges. And then once more over the top, just to make sure that everything is nice and smooth. And then, if you find that you have any little bubbles, you can take a lighter. Once again, I would suggest a like candlestick lighter with a nice long tube on it so you don't burn yourself. But you can run the lighter over it and it'll pop any of the bubbles that are in the gloss. And there you have it. So we also did that on this one that says, "Dear Santa, I've been good-ish." But you can do these like sitting down, or not sitting down, You can do these just on a flat surface. Just always make sure that you put down a newspaper or paper towel, and you can just wash your brushes afterwards. Yay! Awesome. Okay, I feel good about that.